We are back, and this is part 2 of the collab with Zach from Aquafinity. It's been like 1.5 years since we did part 1. Happy to be here again, and yeah, it's gonna be great. Quite a lot has changed. I think it's best to just take you around, show you what has changed. We'll start from where we come in. Here I actually have my plant tanks. These are the tanks where I sell plants from. I have them on my website, jtkeepingfish.com, or you can come here in the store slash garage slash whatever you want to call it to buy them yourself. I have some like different crypts, some buses, some hygrophillas over there, Jalaferns, Anubias, Liliopsis, you know, Rotalas. Also have still 3 little goldfish in here. These are from last year's season actually, but I never sold these. This is my little barrel where I keep my RO water in. There's a pump in there that I can control with my phone, and then there's this hose that I can just take to any tank and fill up a tank with RO water if I want. I have an RO unit right by here. The RO unit just goes there and well, you get it. Then I guess we get to the fish section. So this section here is primarily all fish that I sell. We got gouramis, we got some rummy nose tetras, cardinal tetras, Colombian tetras, we got honey gouramis, better fish in here. This is a male. We got harlequin rasboras, female guppies. Then we also have our male guppies over here, neon tetras, you name it, we pretty much have everything. Even got German blue rams down here, which are looking fantastic, by the way. I really like the way these are looking. Penguin tetras or hockey stick tetras, depending where you come from. Then here's zebra danios. I bred these myself. So all these zebra danios here are homebred, bred these myself, and they're doing fantastic. Then over here we have some Serpe tetras. We also have some zebra danios that jumped over from here to here. That happens quite often. We also got some Apistogramma cacatoides in here. That's a female. There's also males in here, but they're probably hiding. Down here are all my shrimp tanks. So I did recently like a shrimp project where I got 4 different colors of shrimp: yellow, red, I got blue, and I got orange. And then I just put them in these tanks. I let them breed. And well, we'll see what the results are in like a couple of months, see how many babies we get. Quite boring to like look at because there's not much happening, and I have customers come here and they say, what are actually in these tanks? And I say, well, shrimp, you know. Come up from there and we go to this section. So this is my nano fish section, I would say. Basically this one tank that is like 5 tanks. So it's like a 5-in-1. I got my sparkling gouramis, actually really cool little fish, makes a croaking sound, or they also called like the croaking gourami, I think. Take a look at that. He is stunning. Some Japanese white rice fish, another betta male. Pretty much in all these tanks I have a male betta. I think it works well. Some people say you can't keep male bettas with other fish, but in my experience it's been fine. You know, I got another one over here. We also got some Boraris maculatus, so little dwarf rasboras, pretty cool. Ember tetras, some of these blue or kochu tetras, I think these are called. Strawberry rasboras, pretty nice. I don't know if you can see here, but we have little coolie loaches. Look how cute those are. Absolutely great fish. Then down here I have my mini product section. Different types of products, some fertilizer, bacteria, fish food, heaters, tweezers, scissors, substrate, airline tubing, first bites. Even got some wood down here that I sell, a ton of airline tubing, gravels and sands. And yeah, that's pretty much my small selection of products that I can have here. Eventually, I would like to expand over to this side, but that's my plan in the future to, you know, expand to there. This big rack here, these are 6 tanks. These are quite big tanks actually. I think they're like 33 gallons each. They're 125 liters each. We have my discus pair, Neo and Nova. You guys probably seen these before in part 1 because I had those already. They're doing fantastic. We got some angelfish in here. These are just a mix of angelfish that I've bred myself, and they always look great. I really like the way they look. Really nice colors. Take a look at these blue ones. Really beautiful. But I think I only have males, which is kind of a shame. Then over here is a discus pair you haven't seen before, I don't think, or at least not on Zach's channel. This is my new discus pair. I got these like a couple of months ago. Very, very beautiful looking. This is the female here. The male's at the back. This is a leopard snakeskin pair. Haven't had babies yet. It is a proven pair. but I haven't had babies yet. I've had eggs a few times, but the male's eaten them every time, which is kind of annoying. Nevertheless, really beautiful discus, and I do enjoy these guys. Down here, we got a tank with some angelfish, also some lemon blue eye plecos, which are really cool. I really like the way these guys look, and yeah, they look amazing. Then over here, we got a mix of gouramis, so gold ones. We got the Cosbys, even the pearl gouramis over there. Also some albino plecos. So these are just your normal bristlenose plecos. In this tank, we just have some more angelfish, some massive ones. Like, look how big this guy is. He is absolutely insanely massive. Again, bred these guys myself, and yeah, they look great. Then we have one final rack, which is new. I think all of these racks I had already in the other video. I did, you know, have changes here, like I got live plant decorations and things, but this rack is completely new. So this is my new breeding rack. Got this one a couple of months ago. Basically, I'm just breeding fish in here, German blue rams that I'm trying to breed, trying to get some pairs out of these and some eggs. More rams. Take a look at that beautiful male. He's absolutely stunning. Also got some stir-by corridoras, which are looking great. Then this tank, I'm actually currently breeding betters. This is a male here, that's a female, and you can see how beautiful they are, but they've actually got eggs. I don't know if you can see, it's quite difficult to see always, but they do have eggs because they just spawned. So that is great, quite happy with that. I also have some bristlenose babies. These are the albino ones from the parents I just showed. Over here I have some baby Praecox rainbow fish. These are the neon dwarf rainbow fish. Again, a really cool fish. Got about 100 of these guys, and they've grown really well. Take a look at the colors on that dude. Looks absolutely amazing. Down here I've got some Bosemani rainbow fish fry, actually. These are all Bosemani rainbow fish. Will be beautiful once they're fully grown. Got a couple hundred here as well, and they're growing amazingly. Some guppies left that I did from my guppy experiment. I did that a while back. It was like an experiment for school. There you kind of have what the store or fish room looks like. How did the fish room and business begin? What is my fish keeping journey? So pretty much I, started keeping fish at a very young age. I first had some goldfish in a bowl, which you shouldn't do, but back then that was kind of the thing. Then I got my first real tank, which is actually the planted tank here. That's like at least 10 years old, maybe older, probably older. Then I got more tanks, started breeding fish. I saw this could be like a little business, like a side business, side hustle. Kind of went all in on it and got more and more tanks. Somehow convinced my parents to get first that rack, then this rack, and then even this breeding rack, which I got a few months ago. I pretty much tried to convince them, and it kind of worked. Don't try this at home, I would say, but if you can, maybe try it out if you want. I started breeding this fish, kept doing that, came to a point where my demand was bigger than my supply. That's why I became a official business, a registered business, and then I could buy from wholesalers and things like that. Once I did that, my supply was bigger and I still had demand. That's how I sell fish now. Business is going really well, selling a lot of fish, which is great, and hopefully in the not too near future we can expand. This is my Dual Rio 450. This is in my living room. In here I have actually some of the Bosemani rainbow fish that I bred. So these are some of the parents. You can see the colors are absolutely amazing. So I have a bunch of Bosemani rainbow fish in here. Also this massive one, he is giant. I also got these guys. These are the red cap or redback Manica Peru angelfish. I'm growing these out. I bought these a while back. They've grown quite well. Got 10 of them, and they're just an amazing angelfish, and they look amazing. Together with those, I have some rummy nose tetras in here, which again, absolutely massive. Got really red noses and really fun to watch. Then also got some neon tetras in here. Got some Chinese algae eaters. We got some cories, which are like ancient, like these guys are at least 4 or 5 years old. Got a massive rainbow shark in here as well. He kind of hides a lot of the time, but we do have them. Also some Siamese algae eaters you could see there. And I guess there's also some plecos in here, but you never really get to see those. But yeah, this is just my display tank inside, and it's really nice. I really enjoy this, like every evening just watching it. Also have a pair of these golden gouramis, which are pretty cool. This is the tank inside, and yeah. Third question ties into this quite well, because that is, how do you sell fish? So like I said, primarily I sell fish just to consumer, like I have customers, business to consumer type deal. Don't really sell business to business because, well, it's not really worth it. At least for me, it's just easier to do this. You know, I have customers come here, they buy fish, they see fish that they want, plants, products, whatever. Also sell online on my website, gtkeepingfish.com. And yeah, that's pretty much how I sell fish. I don't really sell to wholesalers or whatever, because I don't really breed enough fish for that. Like the fish that I breed, I'll be able to sell here in my store, which is great. What is my best fish to breed for profit? What I think is the best fish is, okay, maybe not when you're like a beginner, but if you're like a intermediate, or you've, you know, bred your guppies, mollies and things like that, easy life bearers, and you want to do like an egg laying fish, then I think angelfish are great. Because angelfish are quite easy to breed, they're really not that difficult, and to be honest, they sell for quite a lot of money, depending on where you live in the world, of course, but generally an angelfish, you know, you can sell for, I sell them for like $5-6, and that's direct to consumer. Now, if you sell to shops, of course, it could be a little bit less, but if you also sell to consumers yourself, then it's a great fish, and you can produce like hundreds of them pretty quickly. They grow quick, and overall, I think angelfish are definitely the best fish to breed for profit. Question number 5 is then if I have any tips for making money breeding fish. I will say, breeding, like making a lot of money breeding fish is quite difficult, because the thing is, you know, if you're just gonna once off like breed some fish and you expect to like make thousands, then that's not really gonna work. Like say these angelfish, right? You buy a pair, you buy a tank, you buy everything you need. Actually, you need 2 tanks, because you need a tank for the pair, tank for, you know, raising them up and things like that. Then you need food, you need electricity, you need water, you need whatever, all those things, right? So your costs are quite high, and then you're going to breed those fish. Potentially you can't sell them all, or you have some issues selling them. Then it's quite difficult, you know. So I would still say best way to make money is, yes, still breeding fish, but you know, choose the fish that is in high demand in your area, that people are really looking after. And then breed that fish. Don't breed like the common things. Say in your area, you know, there's tons of angelfish and nobody's buying them. You know, there's no point then breeding angelfish, because you're not going to be able to sell them. So you want to find a fish that you can breed that will sell. Because if you found that, then you kind of found the jackpot. You know, you can then produce hundreds of them, maybe even thousands of them, and then you can make quite a bit of money. Go into your local fish store, ask around, you know, what is selling well. They'll probably know what is selling well. Based off that, you know, go back and say, well, I can breed this fish for you, I can produce this amount, and yeah, let's make a deal. How do I keep fish and shrimp healthy in the store? So this is actually a really good question, because what I see a lot in fish stores is that fish are not healthy and they are not, you know, looking good. But I try to make sure that all my fish are healthy, especially when I sell them. If I have some sick fish, I'll treat them, I will not sell them. And that is really a big priority of mine. And pretty much how I keep them healthy is just by feeding them well and doing water changes. Those 2 ingredients kind of give you like healthy fish. Also having a good supplier, that is also quite important. And I'm lucky to have some good suppliers which supply good and healthy fish, which I'm happy for. It's pretty much those 2 things. You know, I do quite a lot of water changes. I get compliments of customers saying, oh, your tanks look really clean and really healthy, fish look good. Compared to like some other stores. I always love to hear those comments, and it's always great to hear that feedback. But I do work hard for it, you know, I do water change these quite often. I also feed high quality foods. Generally, you know, on a daily basis I feed flake foods, but I will feed them like 3 or 4 times a week with frozen foods. And every now and then they'll get some live baby brine shrimp as well, which the fish do enjoy. Next question then is, I guess this also ties into the last question, how are my tanks maintained? So like I said, I do water changes on these guys. I have like a nice drainage system, so I can just open a valve here, water will drain down. Then I have a nice filling system as well. There's like pipes that come in that can fill the tanks pretty fast. And that's pretty much for all my tanks, and also these over here. Maintenance is quite easy. I can do it really quick, you know, do a water change and whatnot. Then I also have sponge filters in each tank, which I just find really useful as well, because if you want to clean them, just take them off, give them a squeeze out, put them back in, and you're done really. Other than that, that's pretty much it. All my tanks are bare bottom, by the way. Here's one big, I don't know if it's a secret, but it's definitely a life hack for sure. And I think every store should do this, right? So my tanks actually never really have algae. I don't really need to scrub them that often. Reason why is I actually, in each tank, have like 2 autocinklers. Now, if you don't know what autocinklers are, they are these little algae eater, and they are like the best algae eater that exist. They're absolutely great. I just have 2 of them in each tank, which keeps on top of the algae for me, any that grows, and it's fantastic. I really don't have to clean the algae in these tanks. That's what I would say to stores out there maybe watching. You know, just get 2 autocinklers in each tank and they'll do a fantastic job at cleaning it. Question number 8. What are my best tips for breeding fish and raising fry? Okay, that's a good question actually, because I don't really have any specific tips, I don't think. Maybe the best tip is have patience. It's important, generally in the fish keeping hobby, of course, to have patience. If you don't have patience, well, then you kind of fail immediately. For example, with breeding these betas, right? I had a lot of attempts where it didn't work out. I even had an attempt the other day where I did have some eggs, a few fry, but then he ate them. The male ate them, and yeah, you gotta have patience. You have to be persistent and, you know, just keep on going. I think that's really important. Other than that, definitely for raising fry, feed them baby brine shrimp is the best food for fry. There's no better food. Like if people say, oh, but this food is better for fry, don't listen to them. Baby brine shrimp is the best food, okay? Simple as that. It's live, it's got a lot of proteins and things, and it's just great. So I guess that's kind of my tips. It really depends on the fish. There'll be different set of rules for betta fish compared to rainbow fish, compared to discus, compared to angelfish. You know, it's just different for every fish. I would also suggest, if you're trying to breed some kind of fish, check out on YouTube, put a little Google search of how to breed this fish. I have enough on my channel, like breeding guides, so if you want to check those out, check those out. What is the hardest part of running your fish business? That's a really good question. I would say there's probably multiple things, to be honest with you, but maybe one of the biggest things is when I order fish in, I get them in, and then I'm like, well, actually, I really like these fish. I want to keep them myself. For example, the other day I had some Bolivian rams I ordered in. I thought they looked amazing, and I wanted to keep them myself. So I was nearly going to put them in my duo, actually. I ended up not, because I already sold a pair and I just have 1 pair left. Maybe if this pair doesn't sell in the next month, then I'll put them in my tank. But I think that's one of the hardest parts. Then, of course, a different hard part is just customers who are annoying. Well, I don't know if it sounds weird, but anyone who's worked in retail before understands what I probably mean. Just working with customers that are annoying is just annoying. You get the deal, right? Other than that, I don't think there's much more difficultness to it. It's not that hard selling fish. It's important to have good knowledge on the fish you're selling. That's really important. If the customer has a question and you can't answer it, then that's not great. Like, try to teach the customer something new, because if they come here learning something new, then they're like, hey, I'm gonna come back to this guy because he taught me something new I didn't know before. What is my best advice I could give to anyone about the hobby from my years of experience? Right, so that's a good one. I probably have to think about this for a little minute, because yeah, what is my best advice? I think I have multiple answers for this. One that really stands out to me is to not, on the internet, there's gonna be 1,000, maybe millions of ways to do the same thing in fish keeping. I guess the advice would be, don't just listen to one stubborn person. Do your own research, okay? So if you're a beginner, do your own research, check out different videos on YouTube, check out some different websites, some different articles, whatever it may be. Maybe even reach out to multiple people, but don't just listen to that one person who says, you gotta do this, you gotta do that, because if you don't, you'll fail. And do your own research, use your own brain, right? Most people are capable of using their own brain. You have a brain, so use it. Do your own research when it comes to something that you're unsure about. Take people's opinions with a grain of salt. One person will say this and another person will say the opposite. So who are you supposed to trust? So definitely do your own research and have a think what you think is right, depending on what the topic is about. But I think that is the advice I would give to somebody who's new to the hobby. Anyway, I guess we come to the end. It's been a pleasure to come on again and do an interview, so thank you, Zach, for that. If you guys enjoyed, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. At least that's what I usually say in my videos, so I'm gonna say it in this video. But anyway, have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you guys next time.